morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm not used to speaking in public, especially about something like this, so I hope you'll bear with me. Can you all hear me okay? All right. So, Mark Joseph Isham. He was my husband and best friend for over 17 years. On December 21st, 2014, he ended his life. It was his 50th birthday, the winter solstice, and we just renewed our vows that morning in my favorite park under my favorite tree. We had dinner reservations that evening. We've been having a wonderful day together. We spent it what we enjoy doing most, laying together on our bed, having a very deep, long conversation. I'd gone out for a run at his urging since I'd been training for a marathon. And when I got back home an hour later, Mark wasn't there. I found his note. He'd left for a state park in a cab, and at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, he ended his life. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, before I'd even been aware of it, everything in my life changed. Everything changed, and yet the world kept moving around me as if nothing had happened. I felt frozen in the midst of a swirling world of people and sound and images that confused and revolted me. I screamed and no one heard me. I fell to my knees and no one saw me. I spiraled into darkness and no one cared. This is how I felt. Not for a moment did I believe there would ever be hope or joy or light in my life again. My husband had meticulously been planning his suicide for a very long time. I'd obliviously been walking through my days worried about daily life issues, this bill, this work project. Friends I didn't call, birthdays I might have missed, when bills were due. And I took it for granted that Mark and I would grow old together, but while I was busy trudging through life's daily tasks, Mark had been making other plans. When Mark's life ended that evening, when I was told by the police that my husband was indeed dead of suicide, I was instantly thrust into the darkest, deepest hole imaginable. I never knew such a place existed. Through all life's tragedies, difficulties, and challenges, nothing, absolutely nothing prepared me for the darkness I was suddenly engulfed by. A place where everything, every single thing, changed in a moment. And in that moment, there wasn't one emotion that I did not feel simultaneously. And those emotions weren't just a whirlwind, they were a hurricane, blowing acute pain across every aspect of my body, mind, and spirit. Shock, guilt, anger, grief, sorrow, they were just the beginning. Confusion, PTSD, alcohol, pills, and eventually a desire to follow my husband's path to an early grave came progressively in the days ahead. There was no light that I could see, not even a small spark, only darkness. What I didn't realize yet were all the people around me holding up a light. People just like all of you out there today. We all share a common thread of tragedy and empathy because we've all been touched by suicide. We've all been pounded down by suicide. All of our stories are different, yet we all share the common grief, confusion, and pain. Yet what some of you here today may not know is that we all share common hope. Processing my grief was the hardest thing I've ever had to endure. Shortly before Mark took his life, my dad had died, and soon after Mark took his life, my mom died. There were other major life changes, not all bad, not all good, but major, and they all happened within a very brief period of my life. So staying sane seemed a very insane idea. And I guess I went crazy for a little while. I think all of us do. The trick is finding ways to regain our sanity and to grieve in a healthy way, to let go of misplaced guilt, let go of misplaced anger, forgive those we've lost and continue to love them, never forget them, yet to move forward in life and remember how to be happy. I had to learn how to smile again. Then I had to learn how to not feel guilty when I smiled, when I laughed, when good things happened to me. And that takes time, but mostly it takes help. If you haven't already reached out for help, I'm here to let you know there is hope and there is help. Today is a day to discover all the many resources available to those of us who have experienced loss from suicide. By attending support groups, speaking with therapists and organizations that understand suicide and exist with the sole purpose of helping you heal, you can begin to build your life back up. Eventually, you can begin to climb out of the dark pit and grab onto the light with your own hands. But we have to be willing to take someone else's hand to help us up first. Our lives do not have to end because someone we love ended theirs. And if you believe in nothing else anymore right now, please believe in hope. It did not happen overnight for me, but it did happen. I still miss my husband, I always will, and some days I still yell at him for leaving me. But mostly, I realized I had to find acceptance of his suicide and that there was nothing I could do to change what happened. Accepting what we cannot change brings serenity. Serenity brings peace, and peace brings our happiness back. Mark moved on, and I had to also. Not away from loving him, but away from being paralyzed by grief for him. So every day I think of him and love him, but I live my life one day at a time, the very best I can. Mark taught me how fleeting life can be, how fast time goes, and how short our existence on this earth truly is. So I try to be kind to everyone I cross paths with. Every day, in each moment, I work hard to be present. I try to do the next right thing. Try to keep myself healthy in body, mind, and spirit. And if I see someone struggling, I reach out a hand to help them, even if it's only to listen. And I fall back on the resources available to us in our community when I need to. That includes reaching out for help when I do feel sorrow again. There is no shame in needing help, because we can't just flip a switch and turn off the pain. But with the help of others who understand what we're going through, we can find ways to heal. When I see the shadows rolling in again, threatening to unleash the harsh storm of darkness, I call someone who understands. I go to an SOS support group. I call phone numbers of members from those groups. I call a suicide hotline, my therapist, friends, family. Or I just go sit outside on a clear, starry Arizona night, and I remember that I am still alive, and it is okay to be happy again. For those of you here today that are raw or stricken, for those of you who feel paralyzed in your heart, for those of you who can't find ways to simply get up and get dressed most days, there is hope. The people standing next to you right here, right now, we're all proof of hope. Reach out and touch that light that we're holding up for you, and eventually that light will spread over you and into your heart again, and you'll not only be able to hold it up for yourself, you'll keep it shining for others that travel this hard road of suicide grief. I honor my love for Mark today by living the best I can, by finding my smile again, by finding new joy while never forgetting the joy that he and I once shared together, by forgiving him for leaving me. No one here needs to feel alone in their sorrow, pain, and grief. And if you're not sure where to turn to us today at the tables. Talk to us about resources available in your community that can help you. On December 21st, 2014, my best friend died of suicide. I crawled out of the pit of despair his death buried me in because I know Mark wants me to be happy and live my life fully. So today, please walk into that light with me by taking the first step towards it and reach out for help. Thank you.